Hey there, fans of new heavy music. This is Peter Scope for Music is a Journey. You know, recently there's been a lot of excitement about the new Judas Priest album, Invincible Shield, finally being released. We've been teased with it since sometime around November, since the first single came out. And also back in January, I think it was, the new Saxon album came out, and there have been a lot of people reviewing it, and everyone I've heard so far saying what a great album it is. There was another album, though, that I was really waiting for, in fact, probably for a couple of years now, and it finally dropped here. I think it was officially February 4th last month, and it was available in Japan a couple of weeks after that. Took me a couple of more weeks before I got my copy, but I did. And before I start talking about it, I actually thought, oh, let me just check to see what people are saying about it. And I was surprised to find that there were a lot of reviews. Probably I've seen close to a dozen reviews, and I actually stopped checking because I'd heard enough of what I was looking for. So the album I'm talking about is Ultrapower by Striker, their seventh full-length album. Striker are a heavy metal band from Edmonton, Alberta. They formed back in 2007, and vocalist Dan Cleary is the one member who has consistently remained with the band since their beginnings. Guitarist Tim Brown joined in, I think it was 2013, and he is the second longest running member with the band. And John Simon Fallon, is the latest addition to the band, joining them from the Order of Chaos, which is also an Edmonton-based heavy metal band. So, Striker formed back in 2007. They did an EP called the Road Warriors EP. Do I actually have a picture of that in here? Here we go. That's the Road Warriors EP album cover. And then in 2010, they released their debut full-length Eyes in the Night. And as you can guess here, this is a reissue, and this is a compilation including the Eyes in the Night album and the Road Warrior EP. For some reason it says Eyes in the Night EP, but since there are 10 songs, I think somebody's made a bit of a mistake. But anyway, so that is their beginnings there. Then in 2012, they released their second album, Armed to the Teeth. Look at that cover work there. I really like that picture. And basically they stuck with releasing almost every 2 years. So 2014, there was City of Gold. 2016, Stand in the Fire. And then they got a little ambitious. 2017, we go on with a self-titled album. And 2018, Play to Win. And then after that, a big gap up until 2004. Roughly 5 years, because I think this was released late in 2018. Striker are a traditional heavy metal band that incorporate a lot of speed metal or thrash metal into the music as well. They do also have some glam elements coming through in their more recent stuff, but basically until the fifth album, the self-titled album, they were a pretty solid kick-ass speed metal, thrash metal, traditional heavy metal band in the 80s style. So you will hear basically the mid-80s revived, mid to late 80s revived, full-on intensity, great guitar sound, awesome riffs, blazing, shredding solos, soaring vocals coming in, gang choruses, wild rhythm section, great drumming, and just a lot of really kick-ass songs. But after this one here, this one was actually nominated for a Juno Award, and if you don't know what that is the Canadian, the top music awards in Canada. After that, they went and did quite an interesting turnaround into a new direction. With the album Play to Win, this brought in a lot more melody and almost like that kind of 1989, I wouldn't want to call it glam metal because it is not like, you know, Talk Dirty to Me or Girls, Girls, Girls or something like that. But it has more of these melodic and sometimes a little bit slower approach to. 2 songs on here, Heavy as the Heart and Hands of Time, which actually the last 2, bring in that melody a lot more that, I don't know who sounds like it. If you hear it, you'll think, oh yeah, I've heard songs like that back in the day. I don't know, was it Winger? Was it Warrant? Something like that. But yeah, this album tends to be a lot more melodic and often, as reviewers called it, a little bit more in the glam metal way. Interestingly, when I first heard about Stryker, the first album I checked out was this one, and I just thought, I don't think I really need it. It's not really my thing, but I wanted to give them another chance. So then I checked out Armed to the Teeth and City of Gold, and I thought, no, that's what I'm looking for. That's the stuff I'm into. And I started picking up their albums one by one until this was the only one I didn't have. And I finally got this, and it pretty quickly became my favorite. Favorite because there were just the most songs on this album that caught my attention over the others. The others are great, but it's like there would be like 3 songs that really got my attention amongst the other great ones, whereas this one here, I think it was like 5 or 6 songs that caught my attention right away. Anyway, this one here was actually awarded the Juno Award for Best Heavy Metal Album in the Juno Awards of 2020. 2020, so that would be March 2020 it got this award here, and you will hear me talk about the Juno Awards pretty soon, because that's going to be my next long video coming up. Okay, so that is the background. Basically, actually I read a lot of people said, some people said they also really liked this and couldn't get enough of it. So, with the band going in that direction, and now this big 5-year, somewhere between 5 and 6 year gap, how would the new album sound? Well, they also, in the vein of Judas Priest, likes Judas Priest, they dropped a video for a single a couple of months back called The Best of the Best of the Best. And then they also dropped a video for Give It All. And as I understand, there's also a video now for Circle of Evil. So what kind of album is this? I was very interested in reading the reviews. In fact, the first review I read was by Angry Metal Guy on the Angry Metal Guy website as I was finding the artwork for this to put into my iTunes library before I'd even actually heard anything from the CD. And Angry Metal Guy pointed out that some of the songs on the album are what you would really expect from Stryker, just really intense, solid, face-melting heavy metal. But there were a lot of other kind of diversions on this album here which did not satisfy that reviewer, and he mentioned that Stryker are capable of writing some excellent metal pieces. However, they have yet to put a really good solid album, in his opinion, that is worth 5 stars. I disagree. Because I think I get what Stryker are on about with their music. Not to say that I know more than he does, but I mean, maybe just it appeals to me more. I don't know. Anyway, other people also pointed out some of these different diversions or, you know, other directions in the music, and some people saying that they liked it, some people saying some of them they didn't like so much. But anyway, let's talk about what these are. So yes, Circle of Evil is a nice, intense Stryker type song. And I think it's important to mention right here off the bat that one reviewer said that Stryker have taken a step back with this album, and that does not mean they're making a lesser album than their previous ones, but rather since Play to Win actually had more melodic stuff and maybe some mid-tempo, not a ballad exactly, but getting kind of close, you know. This one here ups the intensity again. The band are pretty much flying away through most of the tracks on here. The thing that makes some people say that this album is exploring new territory is, you know, for example, a song like the Best of the Best of the Best. The band themselves have admitted this, but it's like background music or a song for a montage of a training video, an 80s training video, whether it be a boxer or, I don't know, Karate Kid or whatever. That montage of training scenes, that's an excellent song for that kind of thing. And the cheese factor is said to be high by some other reviewers, but it's what the band were doing. Like, they were going in that direction. Give It All, well, yes, it does have that same heavy, hard-rocking guitar sound that we know from Stryker, but right off the bat, you get saxophone. And I'm kind of curious about this because it does sound like an 80s rock number, really, with that saxophone. And the reason why I'm kind of curious is because a couple of years back, Unleash the Archers did a cover of a song by a band called Tease, a Canadian band called Tease. And I have their debut album, but I didn't have that album, and I thought I'd check it out on YouTube, and I found there are some songs with saxophone. Now, Stryker and Unleash the Archers, I think they're buds. I think they've done some touring together. I would really love to see both bands together. And I kind of wonder if Stryker wasn't inspired to check out that album after Unleash the Archers covered a song, and then they thought, hey, let's do a song that sounds like an early 80s rock song with some saxophone in. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Could have happened that way. Some other ones, though, I think it's Blood Magic. It starts off with some kind of Western sounding acoustic guitar, but a lot of people say this is one of the big face melter songs off the album, if not one of the best songs off the album. But then they go to one called Sucks to Suck, which is actually a typical Stryker song, because Stryker write a lot of inspirational type songs about, you know, being the best, being number one, fighting your way to the top, stand in the fire, you gotta strike out on your own, and this kind of thing, right? Like lots of encouraging, inspirational songs to make you feel like you can take on the whole empire by yourself and win. And so Sucks to Suck is, yeah, about, you know, it sucks to suck, exactly that. It fucking sucks, as they say in the lyrics, and there is one really high-pitched scream coming in there, which is actually, I think, the only song on the album that features that, even though that was common on their older albums. But anyway, I actually don't mind it. But this is one song that a lot of people give a fairly low opinion, have a fairly low opinion of. Ready for Anything is a pretty strong song, though. City Calling features some kind of electronic type, vocoder type vocals at the beginning. Turn the Lights Out, I don't remember. Thunderdome is, it's, kind of Mad Max tribute type thing. Live to Fight Another Day, really good, strong one. And Brawl at the Pub has these kind of like background conversations. You can hear people talking in between the music, and it's a kind of a comedic one. But a lot of people end their reviews with Brawl at the Pub, and I'm not really sure why, because I've got Death Wish, Strange Love, and Take the Money and Run on here as well. I've got 14 tracks on this. So I don't know if these are all supposed to be bonus tracks or what, but anyway, the case is there are 14 songs on here. So what is the weird thing, I guess, for a lot of people who are uncomfortable with it, is that they do bring in a lot of these 80s sounds, like some synthesizer, the gang chorus vocals, but in a more glam metal type way, and you also get a lot of these whoa, like chorus of voices in there. So there is that, and maybe some people think that, okay, that's going a little bit too far into territory I'm not comfortable with. But I think that is exactly what Stryker were trying to do for this album. It's what they wanted to do, and I think they succeed tremendously at it. I've said it many times, I'm not a fan of the way heavy metal was going by the late 80s. I sure love a lot of songs, I love a lot of albums, but I just felt the production was getting bigger and bigger, this big, bright production sound with lots of I don't know, is it reverb or whatever, just big chorus vocals, and I don't know, drums, just really loud drums, and I just felt it was getting to be overproduced, and I like a simpler, raw sound in a lot of my music. But Stryker have done they've gone for the big, bright production sound that I don't like. They've put in the synthesizers that I didn't like back in the day. There's a lot of stuff on here that if I'd heard this in 87, 88, I would have just thought, no, that's it, I'm off this band, I'm not interested anymore. But I have to say that now I actually quite like it. I think it's great that they don't continuously put out these intense traditional metal, thrash metal, speed metal blend, even with a bit of power metal in places. I'm glad they don't consistently put out the same album. I think it's really cool that they went off in the direction they did for this one, and then I think it's really cool that they went in a different direction, a different approach for Ultrapower here. So if I might say there's only one thing that I don't like about it, is I still don't really like that big bright production sound, and part of it's because I listen to my music on earbuds when I am walking to the station or riding the train, and I'm finding that big bright production just does not work well with in-ear type listening devices. if you don't turn it up loud enough, you don't get the effect. And if you turn it up too loud, it's just like big, bright, shiny sound in your ears. So that is the one thing that puts me off this a bit. The first time I listened to it through, it was kind of like, okay, I know I got to take this. You know, it's a little bit too bright outside, but if I want to be outside and enjoy the sun, I got to put up with the glare kind of thing, right? But listening to it again tonight, what I did was I listened to it again today and thought, okay, it didn't sound as bad as I thought the first night. And then I just put all of their albums on shuffle and just let them come up as they came. And there wasn't that big of a tremendous difference as I first thought. So I actually really like it. I think they have done a fantastic job. Yes, they put in this extra stuff. Yes, there's a bit of humor, but it is what they wanted to do. They've really done a great job on this. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you. But as far as Stryker are concerned, I don't think this is an album they'll look back on in 5 years and think and say, like, we don't really know what we were doing at that time. We don't know why we did that. We shouldn't have done that. I don't think so. This is what they wanted to do. They did it. Well done, guys. And it's nice. I mean, I like this collection I have here. 7 albums and the EP. There are just such great songs on here. And I think what I'm going to have to do is maybe do like a top 10 list of my favorite Stryker songs at some point. Okay, that's all I got to say about that, everyone. So thank you for watching. Check out Stryker if you haven't already. If you like Stryker already and you haven't got the album yet, also check it out. And catch you in another video very soon. Ciao.